Hey guys, it's Ellie, and today we're going to be looking at synonyms, and I'm also going to make a second video so you can look at that after this if you want about antonyms. So let's start with synonyms. So we're going to go through some questions. Oh, well, actually, first let me just talk about what a synonym is. So a synonym is just a word that means almost the same thing as another word. So if we give an example of this, so maybe um, a synonym to the word nice might be the word kind, because they both mean relatively the same thing. So words that mean almost the same thing would be synonyms. So I hope that makes sense, and let's get started on some examples, and I think that will help. So, okay, so the first, which word is a synonym of transaction? So first, let's think of what transaction means. So maybe you would go through a transaction at a cash register, or so transaction, like I think of at a cash register, I would be buying something and maybe giving them either my credit card or some money or something else. So synonym of transaction probably would be an exchange, because I give them something and they give me something back, which is, so it means relatively the same thing. And if you look at conclusion, that wouldn't really make sense. I'm not, nothing's getting, a transaction wouldn't mean that something's ending or something like that. So exchange would make the most sense. All right, so the next word is pertain. So pertain, I would think, I think of something pertaining to this subject. So I definitely think of the word relate. That's probably the first synonym that would come to my mind when thinking about pertaining. So something relating to something else. So it's definitely going to be relate. And then let's just talk about recommend. Um, you wouldn't say like, so if you were, a synonym is something that you could replace a word in a sentence with, and it would have like virtually the same meaning. So if I was doing that with pertain, like I would say maybe this this subject pertains to blah blah blah. So that means that like it would sorry, let me give a better example. So um, maybe a subject pertaining to math would be addition, because that's like sort of a type of math. That's not like the best sentence ever, but you would not ever say a a subject recommending to math is addition, because that just doesn't make sense. So it's definitely going to be relate. Prestigious. Okay, so prestigious would mean very well regarded, and I don't want to I don't want to say the word that it is. So yeah, I would think of prestigious as something well regarded. So my sentence that I would make for this maybe would be, and I think maybe if you can make a sentence with the word that you're trying to find the synonym of, that's going to be very helpful for finding which one is a synonym, and then just putting in the two or however many choices you have and seeing like, does that sentence make sense? So I would say maybe she attends a very prestigious university. That's probably a sentence maybe you've heard before, because I know I have. And so let's just try replacing productive in there. So she attends a very productive university. I I don't, that just doesn't have exactly the same meaning as what like a prestigious university would be. That doesn't really make as much sense. I don't really know what a productive university necessarily would be. So let's try the other option. So she attends a very respected university. Now that makes more sense, and that's sort of a lot similar to what prestigious would mean. So it's going to be respected. Okay, so the next word is inherent. So we could think about inherent would mean something sort of like within. I again don't want to use the word that I think is the closest synonym, because it is on here. So let's maybe try and make a synonym. So um, she has some inherent flaws. So that would mean like some flaws within herself that whatever. So let's just try and plug in these words. So she has some fundamental flaws. Well, that definitely makes sense to me. That would mean this virtually the same thing as inherent flaws. And then let's just go over the second option. She has some historic flaws. That again doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't really know. I don't think that, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And even if it does, even if you can think of a way for it to make sense, it doesn't match the same meaning that inherent would give. So the answer is going to be fundamental. So you, when you're looking at synonyms, you want it to be like you can replace the word in a sentence and it's going to give you the same, um, it'll give you the same sort of meaning. Okay, so for our last question, we're going to look at which word is a synonym of nominate. So nominate, you think maybe like someone nominating someone for an award or nominating someone to be class president or something like that. So let's try this. Let's try making a sentence. So I'm going to go with Sarah nominated Jane for class president. So this one, wow, I just looked at the first word. So let's try replacing it. So Sarah shouted Jane for president. Well, obviously that doesn't make sense. So recommend is clearly going to be the right answer. So let's just hear that in the sentence and see if we think it means sort of the same thing. So let's see. Sarah recommended Jane for class president. Now that makes a lot more sense. And the thing is, like with a synonym, it doesn't have to mean the exact same thing. It just has to be pretty similar. So that's definitely, shout obviously doesn't make any sense. So it's definitely going to be recommend. Okay, so that's going to be all we're going to do today for synonyms. And if you guys are curious to learn about antonyms, then I'll be making a video about that right after this. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.